So there is a very dangerous situation and fire hazard that is going on in homes all across the country, and homeowners have no clue that it's even going on, and they are called open splices. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what this is, how this is typically taken care of, but now there's a new device out there that can actually take care of this in literally a matter of a couple of minutes, and it is super, super easy. I honestly can't believe that it's taken this long for something like this to come out. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So this is what is called an open splice, and this is actually a lot more common than people would think. Like I said, in one of my first houses, I had this going on in my attic, and when I had the home inspection done, when I went to sell it, this had to be fixed in order for the new homeowners to be able to then purchase the house and for the house to pass inspection. How my home inspector missed it, I have no idea, but this can often be the case in places that you don't regularly go to, like up in the attic or down in the basement or in crawl spaces. This is really not that uncommon. And like I said, a lot of the times you wouldn't even see wire nuts on these, especially in an older home. They used to just tape them up. Since they were already doing shoddy work, why not finish it off by just using electrical tape instead of something that's actually made to make wire connections? So the way that this is normally fixed is we would have to remove our wire nuts or whatever is holding the wires together. And in this case, I just have 2 wires that are being connected, but it can oftentimes be 3 or even 4 wires that are being connected in one place. And then once we get those wire nuts off, then we would have to pull our wires apart. All right, so now we've got all of our wires pulled apart. Now this is where then we would need to bring in some sort of an enclosure or box. And it can be a metal box, it can be a nail-on. In this case, I'm going to use this nail-on. We would then take our wires and feed it into that new box. So now all of our wires are run into the box, and the box would get mounted. Now, I'm using a nail-on box. If you have plenty of wire, you would be able to do this. In some cases, you're not going to be able to do that. So you're going to need something that's flush mount that then can just be attached to, in this case, the top of a rafter. Just know it needs to be mounted. In this example, I'm not going to mount it. I'm just showing you how it's typically done. Once we've got our wires run into the box is mounted down. Then that's when we would take our wire nuts again and reconnect all of our wires together. Then shove all of our wires down into the box. Again, in case you missed what I said, the box needs to be mounted, not just free like this. And then to finish it all off, you need some sort of a cover plate to put in on top to make sure it's completely enclosed. And while, as you saw, this is not a terribly difficult thing in order to fix, say for instance you are in an attic where oftentimes this takes place, every minute that you're up in that attic, especially during the summertime, it is absolutely miserable. So every minute you are feeling it. And if there was something better that could be used in order to make this easier and just a whole lot faster to do, you would absolutely use it. Well, the good news is that does exist. All right, so now we're back to our original setup where we've got this open splice up here in our attic. And the device that's going to make this so much easier and faster is this one right here. Now this isn't so much a device as much as it is just a box. This is a new box. It has not been out for very long. It is UL listed. It's gone through all the testing that's required in order for this to meet code and be able to be used in this application. And the reason I became aware of this is because Dale with Build Right Products contacted me and said, hey, have you checked this thing out yet? And after I did, I was like, wow, that is a no-brainer. Where has this been for all of these years? Now, many of you are familiar with Racketeers. That is their distributor. They also sell a bunch of other electrical products as well. Hey, really quickly, if you've never seen this before or you're finding this video to be of shockingly good value, if you could just do me a favor, all that I ask is that you give the video a thumbs up right down below or leave me a question or comment down in the comment section. It really does help the video out to spread out to other people, and hopefully we can help them out with this as well. I really appreciate it. Let's get back into it. All right, so if we look in the bottom of this, you're going to see multiple points where you can put screws in. You can screw it in at an angle. So if you wanted to put it up along the side here, you could put screws in these 2 indentations right here. If you want to flush mount it, you've got 2 down there that you can drive the screws into. And then you've got 2 more over here if you wanted to mount it on the other side. And then you've got these wings or these tabs on both sides. This is where the wiring is going to go. We're going to fold these down and we're going to put our wiring then inside of the box. So let me show you really quickly exactly how this works and how this would be applied in a regular install. All right, so with this box, we do not have to take apart any of our wiring. We don't have to take apart these splices. All we need to do is we need to be able to mount the box for one. So I want mine to be flush mounted up here on top of my rafter. So now I'm going to take my screws, I'm going to insert them and screw them through those two indentations that were in the very bottom of the box. All right, so now my box is mounted and it's not going anywhere. Now this is where I'm going to fold my two wings down that are on both sides of this box. And it's real easy to fold them down. You just push it down just like so. The directions say to make sure that you bend them inwards. Now that I've got my two wings bent down, this is where then I will take my wiring and I'll put both of my cables into those two slots that were created by bending those wings down. Then once those are in those two slots, I can then take my wiring and I can start putting it all down inside of the box. All right, so now that my splices are down inside of the box, I've got my cabling running in both sides. Now I'll just take the lid, I'll push it down, it'll snap into place. It doesn't just open up, but then there are these two screws that are in here on top that we're gonna tighten down to make sure that this top just doesn't come up all by itself. So just gonna tighten them both down. And just like that, we now have a code compliant and enclosed junction box. It is now safe. We no longer have a fire hazard here with an open splice. And there's just simply no other product out there right now that is as safe, as easy, and as quick as this one is right here. This really is a genius product. I cannot believe it's taken this long for somebody to come up with something like this, but I am certainly glad that it exists now. And as always, I'll have links for this along with everything else you saw in the video down in the description down below where you can check it all out for yourself. Now, if you found this video to be interesting, I'm going to post a link to a video right over here where I go over how to make much better electrical connections. That way everything is done right and it's also safer. So I hope that you found this to be interesting. If you did, if you could do me a huge favor, hit that thumbs up button right down below. And of course, if you have any questions or comments still, you can leave those down in the comment section. And I'll catch you all in the next one. See ya.